Silent Hill F is the first brand new Silent Hill game in over a decade. Yes, last year we got Silent Hill 2 Remake, and over the years we get weird installments like The Short Message and Ascension, whatever that last one was. But this is the first brand new game in the franchise in well over a decade. It's also fairly different for Silent Hill in terms of its setting, as it takes place in 1960s Japan. So I was intrigued and excited to play Silent Hill F, and after finishing it, I must say, it's definitely good, but as a Silent Hill game, it's weird. I don't really mean that in the way you might be thinking. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, DPX here reviewing today Silent Hill F. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell, and leave a comment, or I'll make you lost in the fog. Starting off with the good, Silent Hill F nails the horror. I would hope so, because, I mean, it's a horror game, but it doesn't fail in that regard. There are certainly jump scares all throughout the game that genuinely got me, and other moments where you're not necessarily jumping, but you are kind of shaking with dread, whether it be the monsters and their designs, the atmosphere, or the music and sound effects in the game. Silent Hill F does a great job with horror, suspense, and dread. Let's circle back to something I just mentioned for like a split second, and that's the atmosphere. Everything around you in the game is disgusting in the best way possible. The monsters in the game, even if they don't actively scare you, are genuinely gruesome looking on their own. And there's other like red grass or gooey stuff that's red throughout the areas that kind of just leave you shitting yourself. And it's also helped out by the setting, as this is very different for Silent Hill. It doesn't actually take place in the town of Silent Hill, but rather in a small Japanese town called Ebisugaoka in 1960s Japan. I hope I didn't butcher that, but I probably did. Many of the areas do resemble the town of Silent Hill from the other games, but still, it's a new setting, which I think is really cool. But I gotta talk about perhaps the best part of Silent Hill F, and that's the story and the themes it covers. In this game, you follow Hinako, a young high school girl who lives in a very abusive and dysfunctional family. She resents her father for being very abusive, and resents her mother for taking said abuse and just rolling with it. Her sister Junko, with whom she had a good relationship with, left the family after getting married. The game even starts with Hinako running away from home after an argument with her father, where she meets with her friends, Shu, who she is very close with and has a platonic yet somewhat rather complicated platonic relationship with. And then there's Rinko, who is friends with both of them, but has resentment towards Hinako because she has feelings for Shu, but sees Hinako as competition. So that was a lot. And that's not even mentioning the themes of gender discrimination and bullying within this game, along with drug-induced hallucinations, at least as the content warning at the beginning puts it. And I will say, Silent Hill F does a great job at tackling all these themes. It really didn't hold back. They told a story that may be sensitive to certain people, but said sensitivity needs to be told, if that makes sense. There's other story details too that you view through a journal. Well, I mean, the game calls it a journal. It's more of like a diary. It's where we learn about Hinako's family, friends, upbringing, and whatever else she feels like writing about in her diary. Now, I just think stuff like that really helps flesh out the story. I also don't typically talk about sound design in games because usually there's not much to say, but in a horror game, you tend to notice how good the sound design is. And in Silent Hill F, it might just be award-winning. And I also gotta talk about the visuals, both the graphics and the aesthetic. I did kind of touch on the aesthetic earlier, but in terms of the visuals on a technical aspect, this game looks amazing. There's also a smaller thing I want to mention, but I like it when fighting a boss, they don't have a health bar or anything. It really adds to the dread and leaves you thinking like, how many more hits do I need to kill the boss? And lastly, the ending. The main ending, that is. There are multiple, not saying it was a fantastic ending or anything, not that there was anything wrong with it, but it's one of those endings that kind of makes the player feel guilty. I don't want to say anything more than that, but I thought it was very clever.
I will go ahead and make arrangements. Come, bid your farewells.
Moving on to the mixed, this is where I say it gets a little weird. Not as in, like, the game is inherently bizarre, but as a Silent Hill game, it's rather odd. For one, despite it being called Silent Hill and having a lot of elements from the franchise, it's not very Silent Hill-y, if that makes sense. I know I praise the setting for being different, but it also does make the game feel pretty disconnected from the rest of the franchise, because it kind of is. I can get over that. There's a reason it's not under bad and just mixed after all, but then that leads me to the puzzles and combat. I don't have much to say about the puzzles. I didn't really like them too much, but I mean, that's how you know you're playing a Silent Hill game. I wouldn't say the puzzles are bad, but they would go on for a while, and at a certain point I was like, alright, let's move it along. But I couldn't because I had to complete the puzzle. But the combat I have more to say about. This has definitely had most people mixed. If there is one thing that has divided people the most about Silent Hill F, it's the combat. And here is my 2 cents on it. In IGN's review, they mentioned that they would fight enemies, realize that said enemies took too long to kill, so they would just run away. But then I watched SkillUp's review, and they mentioned that, but then said that that's like kind of the point, and then I got it. That is the point. These enemies take so many hits to kill, it's smarter to just run away. It's a horror game after all. And what's scarier, beating the shit out of a monster or running away from it hoping it doesn't kill you? And in that case, the combat in Silent Hill F is pretty clever. I just wish it would stick to implementing the combat in that way, because while you can avoid combat, which hides some of the jank and clunkiness involved, there are moments where you can't avoid combat. I'm not talking about boss fights, I'm mainly talking about times where you have an objective where it's just head to this place, but then there are a bunch of monsters and you can't head to the place because the path is blocked off, and the only way to clear up the path is by defeating the monsters. So engaging in combat is sometimes mandatory to progress through the game. And it's in the mix because, well, they implemented combat into the game. To expect to never have to use it is foolish. But the moments where you have to fight monsters, there's often like 5 of them, one of them way bigger and stronger than the others, with more spawning unless you destroy the little egg things that spawn them, while you might not have good weapons or healing items. So sure, there is a bit of a skill issue involved, I'm willing to admit that, but at a certain point it becomes more, I would like to just play the game. When using the combat in situations where it's not 7 enemies after you at once, it's fine. But with more going on, it highlights how clunky it is. Not particularly a bad thing, as again, it's in the mixed, and I explained why. But it is a big factor as to why I described this game as weird. And lastly, the music. I don't know, maybe I gotta sit on this one a bit. There have been times where I review a game, mention that the music wasn't much to write home about, but then look at the soundtrack afterwards and realize that it's pretty solid. That might happen here. I will say that the music for like the environments, if that makes sense, or the music that's there to add suspense when you see a monster, those get the job done, but Silent Hill has always had some really solid tracks, and I don't think F really follows suit.
Is this really my house?
Moving on to the bad. First is the difficulty options. Not so much the difficulty of the game itself, but the difficulty options. There's really only 2, story and hard, and then after beating the game you unlock Lost in the Fog, which is the hardest difficulty. With the main 2, I feel like there is a huge imbalance. Story implies it's like very easy mode. Most games that have a story difficulty have it listed as like easier than easy mode. But then there is also hard mode, which is really hard. And it's not just me, I've actually seen many players struggle a bit on hard mode. And then you unlock a very hard mode, which is very weird. And what's even weirder is that the story difficulty is pretty misleading. Not saying it's that hard, but I'd say it's more akin to a normal difficulty rather than an easy mode. So basically, this game has a normal mode disguised as an easy mode, a story mode, and an unlockable very hard mode. What? And lastly, this game is rather short. It's not like you can beat this in one sitting. It's not like buy this on Steam, play it, finish it, and still be able to refund it short, but I was a little taken aback by how short it was.
Shu, where are you?
What is it, partner?
Everything that's happening to us. Do you think it could be some dream we're having?
Silent Hill F is not a bad game by any means. It may be quite different for a Silent Hill game, but as a game on its own, a very solid survival horror game. The way it uses its horror, suspense, and dread, along with the story, setting, time period, and themes it covers, makes this a very bold game. The hang-ups come from the things I'm mixed on though. The combat, while not terrible, I felt left a little to be desired. And the game doesn't feel very Silent Hill-y. Even despite that, I really enjoyed Silent Hill F, and even if my opinion on it sours over time, I don't think that's a bad sign for the current revival of Silent Hill. The fact that we got this game at all proves that Silent Hill is back, and it's a pretty damn good game too, but might not jive with everyone. Hell, my opinion on it might even change over time, but for now, I give Silent Hill F an 8 out of 10. So that's my review for Silent Hill F. I know it's going up a bit late. What do you guys think of this game? Do you guys like it, not like it? Have you guys played it, not played it? And if you haven't played it, do you guys want to play it, not want to play it? Anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to like the video, like, and subscribe, or I will make you lost in the fog.